Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Vaos, and today in this episode we will be going over how to build an SSTO that's relatively small, but yet can get a medium-sized, oh maybe not too medium-sized, a small medium-sized satellite into orbit. Now I've made a video like this once before, so this is a revised version for version 21 of KSP, and we will call our vehicle SSTO Mark 1. Alright. Excuse me. First off, we need an MK1 cockpit. And you're going to want a way to be able to jettison your Kerbal just in case things go wrong. You want a way to remote control your craft if you're ever on an EVA. Or if you just want to dock the Kerbal at a space station. And then have the craft come down back to Kerbin unmanned. What else? We're gonna need a way to stabilize our craft. And RCS fuel. And of course, our main fuel tank. We're gonna use a turbojet engine. Now, in one of my videos that are going to be coming up soon, I'm going to be attempting to get in space. Not using the turbojet engine, but using the basic jet engine. It's probably going to fail miserably, but it's a challenge. Obviously, I'm going to need rockets. Delta wing. Yeah, because the the basic jet engine. Okay, let's see, symmetry on, and hold down shift, and... Okay, hold down shift and the A key. The basic jet engine starts to die around 18,000 meters. So you can't really go very high, unlike the turbojet engine. So it's definitely going to be a challenge to try to build up enough speed and then activate the rockets. You want winglets on the sides? You could get winglets and put them in the middle like this, like some sort of F-18 Hornet. But I've noticed that you actually get more control out of a small craft if you put the winglets on the sides of the wings. Don't ask me why. I'm just stating an observation. So let's go ahead and put some small control surfaces in the back. You want about 4 of them. Hold down Alt and click. Alt, click. And Alt and click. Now I could use a large standard control surface, but it's got a lift rating of 0.7. So we need plenty of lift on this small craft. So instead of having just one control surface with a lift rating of 0.7, I'm going to go ahead and put 4 control surfaces of a lift rating of 0.5. And that means I have a lift rating of technically 2.0 on each wing. So plenty of lift. And we'll put some winglets on the front nose to help the nose have lift. Alright. Let's go ahead and... Nope, we'll do that later. Alright, I guess we can start with this little technique that will help us get into orbit using only the jet engine. Alright, so Alt 12. And as you can see, I'm going to put this right here. So you'll always see that I'm not using allow part clipping or any other cheat. Because, for me, I like a challenge. So, if I have to use a cheat in order for it to work, then it makes it no fun. So, okay, what I do there? I grabbed a cubic octagonal strut. Make sure it's pointing right up. Get your ram air intake, flip it around, and place it like that. Then grab the strut, and for some reason, you know what? I screwed up. Let us grab a small control surface and put it in the front. Damn camera angle. And the reason why is because when we start putting a satellite on this thing, we're going to need lift to help with that weight. And you want to start from the back and work your way up. That way, you're putting these small control surfaces on the wings themselves and not on each other. Okay, click Alt. So, Alt. So, Alt. And 4 of them is good. Back to back to back. Okay. Alright, let's grab the strut with our ram air intake on it. Flip it around. You can, position it any way you like, as long as it's facing forward. And come on. Work for daddy. Now you want to make sure that the wing is highlighted in green, not the winglets. You don't want to put this on a winglet, you want to put it on the wing. Get it just right. That's good. Alright. Now, basically, hold down Alt, click, move it back. Hold down Alt, click, move it back. Again. And this will allow the craft to have thrust at very high altitudes, which is where we'll build up most of our speed, and then leap out of the atmosphere like a fish out of water. Like a fish out of water. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put one more on there, and actually we'll take this one and, oops, flip it around so the scoop is on top. And what that does is it gives it a nice little look. But like I said, you can play with it and do whatever suits your fancy. Obviously, we will need rockets when we get up there. I could use these, because you don't need much thrust to get into space. However, I like these because they offer, for a little engine, that's plenty of thrust, 120. Okay, make sure your angular snap is on, so you're right in the middle. And that's good. But I like these because, just look at them. It's really nice, sleek, and sexy. They really complement the craft. Okay, now let's put some sort of docking controllability. RCS thrusters. We're only going to be using maybe 4 of these RCS blocks. Not a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot. Make sure your angular snap is on. And you know what? Before we do this, we need a way for the pilot to be able to get in and out. So let's make sure we figure out how he's going to do that. I think I'm going to put a parachute up here for him. So parachute's going to be right there. And that means I'll probably start right here. Okay. Give him a ladder. Looks like it's pointing down, so I'm going to hold down the shift key and tap the D key. How's that look? That's good. Alright, so that's where he's going to climb up. You can get the Kerbal and have him climb right on top of the craft and make him walk on top of the craft to his cockpit. And vice versa. He doesn't need to be right there. Angular. Okay, symmetry, angular snap on. And we'll put this right there. Same thing, turn your angular snap off, because if you leave it on, it does this weird I'm floating in the middle of nowhere business. That's good. Okay, now we will use our linear RCS ports. We'll start sticking them one right there, and turn your angular snap on, so it's in the middle, and one right here. Now the reason why I'm doing this, put another one right here. Come on. That's good. The reason why I'm putting more over here than over here is because this side is heavier than this side. So if you want the craft to move left, not turn left, but move left, you want enough thrust to move the mass that's over here compared to what's over here. If you were to just put one on one side and one on the other side, and you wanted to move left for docking purposes, you would find that your nose, because it's lighter, would move farther back, and your ass end, because it's heavier, wouldn't move as far back as the nose, so you'd actually start turning left. So you want to make sure you have plenty of thrust. And you want plenty of thrust moving forward. This damn camera angle, come on. Okay, turn your angular snap off, and position it using the WASD key. Right. Okay, that's one. And I'm using this linear thruster as a point of reference since it's right in the middle of the craft, thanks to angular snap. So try to get the thrust as center as possible. I'm not worried about it being perfect, because you're only going to use it maybe a few seconds, and if you do have any deviation from the thrust not being perfectly centered towards the mass of the craft, it's easily correctable. Alright, so we have our forward thrust, reverse thrust, side to side thrust, up and down thrust, we have our pitch thrust, we have our yaw thrust, we have our roll thrust. We are good to go. Now we need tires. Tires. Wheels. Okay. And you want to place these, make sure your angular snap is off. You want to place these as far out as possible, but not too much that looks ridiculous. Hold down Shift key and hit the A and D keys to make sure it's lined up straight. That's good. It gives it more stability as it runs down the highway, as it runs down the runway. And we'll put one right in the middle. Oh, turn your symmetry off. Now I could place one just like that. The problem is unfortunately, if you were to put it on the ground, you could see that this back portion here would be lower than this portion up here. And I like my craft to be level. You can place it anyhow which you want, but it's an urban legend that if your nose is pointing up and your ass end is pointing down during takeoff, that you're going to have more lift. The reality is, if you don't have lift, a good amount of lift to begin with for your craft, it's not going to make a difference if your nose is pointed higher or lower during takeoff. So anybody out there who says, oh well, I've got my craft pointed skyward, it's not going to matter a whole lot. So what I do is I flip the front end around so that the gear itself is a little higher, which makes the nose come down more, and it gives it a more level appearance when it's on the runway. Observe. Holy crap. Huh, I did not know that. The wheels react to the ground. That's amazing. Oh, wow, nice. Boing, boing, boing. Okay. But see how they all contact pretty much at the same time? That means the vehicle's gonna be level. It's gonna be nice. Wait a minute. I know that guy. He owes me money. Hey, you! Yeah, you! Hey, don't you owe me money? Uh-oh. Hey! What the hell? Come back here! What the fuck? Alright, as I was saying, this craft is almost ready to launch. But we need to put some safety equipment on there for our pilot. Make sure your symmetry's on, and that's good. And we want to put some parachutes back here too, just in case we ever have an emergency where the craft needs to slow down quickly. And let's not forget, we need power. Power. Here we go. Thermic generator. Thermoelectric Yes, those things. Let's see, how am I going to do this? Alright, if you notice, the struts still have green surfaces on them, which means you can put stuff on there. And that should be good. Like so. Which is kind of fitting that they're right next to the jet engines and the rocket engines, since they are thermo, which means heat. They get power via heat. Okay. Now this craft is ready to launch as is, except for one thing. We need struts. Of course, it's a Kerbal spacecraft. Come on. Struts is kind of like the bolts and nuts of anything. Make sure your symmetry's on, and place it over here. And I'll tell you why. If you've noticed, we got kind of a smorgasbord of parts right here. And so when you get onto the runway, it likes to do this bow. It kind of like stretches because of the weight of the craft and all these parts together. It does this weird chain thing. So we put a strut right here to give it some strength. Now that I'm looking at this wing, I'm not liking how far back it is. I think I'm going to grab it and pull it up a little bit. Okay, like this. Not too far up, just a little bit. Like so. And to make it blend in a little bit better, I'll grab the strut from this one. Pull it back some. There we go. That works. Make sure you save. Alright. Do a little bit of check it out. And our struts, they are broken, so let's go ahead and see if we can't grab them and retie them to the main body. Come on, there we go. Like so. Beautiful. Alright. Let's go ahead and put a satellite on here. Radial attachment point. Now you don't have to use this. The only reason why I do is because it makes the craft a little, gives the craft like some sort of, make sure you're not in the way of the guy climbing up, okay? What was I gonna say? Well, here, I'll just show you. In order to get a small little platform going on, rising up, this doesn't work. That doesn't really work, and it's heavy. This thing is very heavy compared to what we're going to use. And weight is not your friend when you're trying to get into space. This, of course, doesn't work. Suppose you could use an I-beam, but again, it's a little too high up, and it's heavy. Same thing with this. However, if you use this, it does kind of work. So yay, right? And you can just build a whole bunch of them on top of each other. But then you look at it, and what in the world Houdini is going on? Yeah, it's like a little magic trick. So finally I said screw it. Ta-da! That works. And this thing is only 0.04 in weight, so you're not sacrificing weight. Okay, now we don't want it that high. 2 is fine. Make sure your symmetry is on. Whoops, on. And you can use it without angular snap, but I find angular snap to help me just a little bit. Then you take the whole thing and spin it around. Okay, take the symmetry off, and then spin it. Whoops. Use the D key and spin it around. The reason why we got 2 points is because we're trying to make this as, well, in Kerbal's space program, the atmospheric effects are very different from Earth's. On Kerbin, I should say, the atmosphere is slightly different from Earth. You don't need aerodynamics to get into space. You can have a big, flat, square surface and get up there just as good as any other craft. Don't ask me why. Alright, so to simulate something that's closer to Earth, we're going to use a type of nose cone in front of our satellite. Now you could put it way up here, but why not put it just right there? Alright, we're almost done with our platform. And what I do is I like to use this octagonal strut and put it right there. And I'll show you why in a second. Because we want our decoupler. Make sure the triangle is facing outwards. Whoops. Okay, turn off angular snap. And like that. Because of the simple fact that if you look at it without this octagonal strut, it's doing the whole magic trick floating in midair thing. So I like to put something right there to make it look like it's actually tied down to something. Alright, now let's build this tiny little, well, not very tiny, but small little satellite. This satellite has actually gone through several phases of its design, and I think I've finally found the perfect think I finally found the perfect model for this small satellite. What am I looking for? There we go. And we're going to actually use this SSTO to get up there and replace the older version of the satellite. Because it used to have, for the engines, it used to have this small little liquid fuel engine. It doesn't need that anymore. It's got the Rockomax engine, which gives more fuel for the bang. You can actually go farther and faster with this, with the same amount of fuel, compared to this one, which doesn't go as farther or faster, even though it supposedly is more gas saving. Nah, it's not really that much. Okay. Grab this one, slap it there. So far the engine, the fuel tank, the strut, and of course we need a probe body. Now this still confuses the hell out of me. I can't tell if it's up, right side up, left side, whatever. But from what I remember from our last launch, I think you have to have it facing the other way. Yeah, so the words are facing in the direction behind the engine of the craft, I think. Well, we'll find out when we get there. Alright, this is basically the main body. Now let's put our scientific stuffs on there. First thing we're going to need is power. We want the SP-Ls, which means long, compared to the SP-Ws, which means wide. We want a long solar panel that stretches out. And you want to flip it around, make sure you got symmetry on, and angular snap on. Whoops. Okay, flip it around. Whoops, nope. Oh, you know what? I almost goofed up. Let's put that there. Let's grab another. This is the difference in the design besides the engine. The new difference in design is I'm going to put one of these on here, and I'll show you why in a second. That's good. Oh, make sure the symmetry's on. Okay, and I'll grab this, and I'll put it on the strut rather than putting it on the main body. And you want to make sure that Model B is facing this way, going out that way, so that when the door to this thing opens, it opens this way, and not towards and out into your satellite dish. Okay, so as you can see, there's not much difference. It still looks like it's attached to the main fuel. The difference is that I'm going to grab this solar panel, right? Hold down Shift and, oops, and S key. S, good. And she. Okay, so now it's crooked, right? Well, actually that's what we want. Because what's going to happen is when the solar cells come out, they're going to come out in an angle. And the satellite dish is going to be right up here, along with the angled antennas that we're going to do. So it's going to kind of have an aerodynamic look to it, even though it's in space. But it's going to look cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this satellite and get this thing into orbit. Alright, now we're going to take the, nope. Okay, take the body, flip it. Get our antennas, make sure symmetry is on. Angular snap is on, and when you put them towards the core, they automatically angle for you, so that's good. And while we're here, we'll give it some batteries, some of the small ones. You could use big ones, but it's just, you know, fat and ugly. There we go. Something a little leaner. And it's plenty of power. I mean, that's one on one side, one on the other side. That's 200. That's plenty. Alright. Like so. And actually, we'll leave it like this. Because if we flip it around, the antennas want to go into the actual craft. So by doing it like this, we got some measure of clearance. Alright, and we will get all of our nice little instruments. Angular snap is on, so we get it right in the middle. Thermometer, so we can measure how cold it is in space, even though nobody gives a crap. Pressure thingamajiggy, since space is a vacuum and we don't need it anyway. Gravity, since there's no gravity in space. You know, everything that we need. And whatever that does. You know, everything that we need to pretty much point out the obvious. Alright, I think we are done. Oh, nope, let's get our favorite doohickey, the strut. Okay, turn it off. Angular snap is off. Symmetry's on. You put it right here, right on the probe body and just kind of outwards. And what that does is it keeps it from wiggling up and down during takeoff. I think that is it. I sure hope so. I'd hate to have to redo this. Okay, we got all of our instruments, probe body, fuel, solar panels, doohickeys, battery. Yep. If we forgot anything, I'm sure we will remember it as soon as we get up there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, here it is. Make sure you save and get your action groups ready. Your first action group should be the jet engine. And, I mean, you don't have to do this, but it helps. Select each of these ram air intakes and toggle the air intake. Click and just come up behind them inside of your assembly building thing. There we go. And there we go. I believe we had 8 on either side. Like so. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so we got all of them. And what that does is you're going to reach a point in the atmosphere where you're still in the atmosphere, but you can't really get enough air to keep this thing lit. Save. So, keeping it on is not really going to help you any, so you have to turn it off. Well, you're still in the atmosphere, and all these air intakes create drag. So if you're able to close them, it allows you to slip through the last bit of the atmosphere without slowing down too badly. Because if you slow down, your apoapsis will drop. Okay, so number 2. We want to put our rocket engines to the number 2. And, oh, here's something that many people may not know. If, let's see here, you see abort, this button right here says abort. That's what that little abort button is on the very top. It's a action group. So when you click on abort and nothing's happening, it's because you haven't put anything to the action group. So what we want to do is we want to put this decoupler on it. So when we click on the abort button, it'll eject our pilot. But we don't want to put our parachutes on it because we might be too high when we eject or whatever. So we want to save our parachutes for manual deployment. But yeah, when you hit abort, this thing pops off. And I'm not too worried about putting little rockets on it. I guess we should. Because it's so small, it's going to be able to break free anyway. It's not like a really large SSTO or something where it needs to get the hell out of the way. Alright, so yeah, that's good. We'll make number 5 our ladder. Alright, so 1 for the jet engines and air intakes, 2 rockets, 5 ladder, and we have our abort ready to go. Good, good, good. Everything's good. You know what? Where are these parachutes located? Let me move this. You have to have your action groups in order for this. Ignoring it will cause problems. Okay, so these are the back ones. This is the engines. You want all your engines except for the satellite ones to be the very first ones you activate. Okay, so this is the satellite one. We want that one right there, and this one right there. Okay, those are good. And where's this decoupler? Who's this? That is for the satellite. That's fine, we can leave it there. Parachutes. Okay, that's fine, we can leave that there. Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, we can tie this into each other so it decouples and activates the engine at the same time. Put these parachutes right here, just in case of emergency. We can hit spacebar again and deploy them. And of course, we'll leave this one for our cockpit. For the last one, just in case we don't have enough time to manually click the abort button, we just hit the spacebar. Actually, we want to put that right there. Manually hit the spacebar and jettison. If ever we need to. Save, and I believe we are ready to go. Now, I could put these on action groups to make it a lot easier. But the problem with that is these items are fixed items. As soon as they come out, you can't reel them back in. Manually, that is. If you put them on an action group and accidentally hit that action group again, they will be reeled in, and then they will never open. They stay closed forever. Yeah, so we'll open them manually. I don't know if they fixed that, but in version 20 it was like that, so I've kind of trained myself to stay away from that. Alright, I think we are ready to go. Now what we're going to do, I guess we can put a pilot in here. Yeah, because we're going to land this craft also. I do apologize if this video has been a little longer than what I wanted it to be. I was trying to make it an hour, but the whole takeoff, deploying, and landing is going to go past an hour for sure. Okay, yeah, we'll make him. He's got enough courage. It's a good thing he's got courage. Because, yeah. Launch. Whoops. I can't do anything with that. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Alright, as you can see, nothing's on. We will close that. Turn this on so you can see all the gauges and numbers. And those struts are working very nicely. Oh, and you know what we forgot? We forgot to put lights on the darn craft. Bip-de-doo-dip-de-doo. Da-da-da-da. Yeah? Okay. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, but I find that having lights on the craft actually, makes it cooler looking. What in the world? Come on, get in there. Why is it? And that's good. Yeah. Ah. Oh, oh! Okay, what was it? What was it? What was it? Control Z. Yay! Sorry, my OCD is kicking in. Good, 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 good. And of course we want some lights right here so we can illuminate the satellite. And we'll put it right there. Just to make sure you guys see it. The reason why I'm going to start doing this in most of my videos is because I've been getting a lot of comments saying, oh, you must be using Angular Snap. No, you can do this without it. Okay, Shift key A, tapping the A and Shift. And that looks kind of weird. Grab this. Go back a little bit. That's good. Alright, awesome. Save. Close that out. Now we're ready. Now we're cooking with jet fuel. Alright. Lights. Beautiful. Hit the brakes. And tower, are we clear? You are clear. Roger that. Engaging engines. Rocket engines off. Full power. And lift. As you can see, it takes off fairly easy. Gears up. Thanks to the small control surfaces that we put in front or in the middle as well as on the back. Gives it plenty of lift. Surprisingly, it's very stable, especially when you hit the warp. So let's go ahead and warp a little bit. Actually, let's pull the nose up to a 45-degree angle. A little past 45 since we are going to warp. And when you activate the warp, it tends to bring the nose down. So, warp. Again. And let's see if it can do 4 times. Okay, that's a little much. Don't want to tempt fate. Alright, now we are at 3 times warp, so we should get up to our cruising altitude, which is 12,000 meters, before we level out and begin to pick up our speed for... begin to pick up our speed to reach orbital altitudes. Oops, a little too far. That's okay. Bring it down to about 20 degrees. Make sure your yellow marker is directly on the vertical line. Now, I think I've mentioned it in several of my videos. Caps lock, okay, so you get a little more control. I really hope they fix that SAS soon because it's very sluggish at high altitudes. It does not like to hold your heading true. Especially when you try to correct it. Just, like, lazy. Notice we're already at 500 ms and climbing, 17,000 meters. Now this isn't really where we pick up most of our speed. We'll start picking up speed around 30,000, 33,000 meters. That's when we try to stay as level as possible and just give it as much gas as we can. Right now we're just trying to gain altitude and speed at the same time. Air intake is still at 0.89, still way up there. This engine only needs 0.08 before it starts having flame out problems, in which case we'll start throttling down so that it uses less air but stays on. 20,000 meters in climbing. We're at 25 degrees now. That's fine. Alright, let's bring the pitch down just a little bit. Back down to 20. Air intake, 0.33. We're now at 1,000 ms in climbing. Alright, right around 26, 25,000 you want to start coming down to about 15 degrees. That way you don't shoot past 33,000 meters and end up running out of air for your engine before you're able to reach orbital speeds. Okay, so right here you're going to want to keep an eye on your air intake and an eye on your altitude. Because they will climb and drop very rapidly right here. You just kind of want to play with it to try to keep it as level as possible for as long as you can. We're already at 0.10 air intake. Okay, I'm going to try to attempt to bring the altitude back down. Okay, so we're slowly leveling out. 0.9 or 0.09. Right. So basically you're just going to ride right here. You're going to go up a little bit. Keep an eye on your altitude. And when it starts going back up, you want to point the nose back down. Pretty much stay right there for as long as you can. Okay, we're dropping again, so I'm going to bring it back up. Okay, now we're starting to climb. Alright, so bring it back down. Notice our speed is now at 2,000 ms. We got plenty of air for the engine. Speed now at 2,100 ms. Okay, we're falling, so bring the nose back up. Climbing, bring the nose back down. Eventually, you'll reach speeds that are so fast, you'll not be able to keep from going up, and that's because of the fact that you're going so fast. You're literally flying right out of the atmosphere of Kerbal, which is what we want. Okay, we're climbing, so we want to bring it down just a little bit. Now if I click on this right here, you'll see our orbital speed's already at 2,300, which is actually perfect. So let's go ahead and point the nose up a little bit so we can begin our ascent. Now this is when you're going to have to keep an eye on your air intake, and as soon as you flame out, bring the throttle down. You don't have to mess around with pitch anymore. You're going plenty fast. Alright, notice that we're at 0.7. It's about to give out on me. There it goes, bring the throttle down. 0.6, bring it down just a little more. We're about 15 degrees. Bring it down a little more. Bring it down a little more. Bring it down a little more. A little bit more. A little more. A little bit more. A little more. A little more. Now notice we're not speeding up anymore. We haven't been speeding up for a little while now. What we're doing is we're trying to put as much thrust into this to keep our speed up for as high as we can get it, or have it drop down as slow as possible for as high as we can get it. Alright, let's check our apoapsis. 78,000 meters. That's perfect. I would have liked it to be a little higher, but you know, take what you can get. Alright, we're going to turn off our engine now and close all air intakes. Because you notice that we're still in the atmosphere of Kerbal. Because we have closed all air intakes, this apoapsis is falling slowly. Because we have reduced our drag. Alright, activate rockets. And once we get up there, we'll get our maneuver node, ready, so we can have a orbital insertion burn, which only takes a few seconds. Notice we still have more than half a tank of gas left. Plenty of fuel. Alright, it's coming down to a creepy crawl now since we're at the very edge of space. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Alright, let's get our orbital maneuver ready. Now the one that we're replacing is up here at 100,000 meters, so that's where we want to go. What is that? 102? 100? Bring it down just a little more. Now I wish we could go ahead and capture the satellite, but this craft doesn't have that capability, so we're gonna have to just destroy it. Suppose I'll maybe try to make a small SSTO that's capable of using, like, I don't know, landing gears of some sort to grab the satellite and bring it back down to Kerbal. That'd be cool. In which case, if you think about it, the action group to close those satellite dishes and everything would come in handy. Because you can't click on them and close them. But if you use the action group, they will close. So if you're gonna take down the satellite anyway, having that dish and everything close up would be nice. That's an idea. Alright, we're coming up on our burn. Turn the lights off. Ooh, pretty. Oh, don't want to, okay. 46 seconds. Roger that. Fast forward just a little bit. Alright. Now even though it says 11 seconds, it's because it's calculating how long it would take with the jet engine. Of course, since the jet engine doesn't work anymore, let's go. See how it went down to 4 seconds? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to map mode and make sure this reaches what I want it to reach. 80. I've got my finger over the X key. 90. And... we're a little crooked. So we'll use this 99. Well, actually, you know what? I'm just trying to put it up there for now. So 100 is fine. That's good. Let's go ahead and change this. Put a node right here. Normally I don't need to use nodes, but I'm just doing this right now to, so I know that the burn is going to happen in 15 minutes. Alright. So let's fast forward. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, 1 minute and counting. Let's go ahead and get ourselves positioned. "40 seconds, 30, 20, 15 seconds, and T-minus 10. Activating SAS. And we can go ahead and start. Check the other side. I clicked on Kerbal so I can get a better look. And 101, 100. Let's go ahead and fast forward so we're in the daylight. Turn off rocket engines because I don't want to accidentally activate them and goof up, like I almost just did right there. Alright, looks like a good spot. Let's go ahead and release. And 5, 4, actually, let's do this. That way he has a front row seat. Visually inspecting the craft, making sure everything's okay. Yep, all good. And thanks to the fact that we put a remote control doohickey on here, let's try to get him centered properly. We can go ahead and switch back. As soon as damn it. Dude, stay still. You've had way too much coffee, haven't you? Switch back. My craft is I'm still capable of controlling it, so I will go ahead and hit spacebar. In 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Oh, okay. I guess, the graphics were, that's okay, we're good, we're good. Come back here. A little bit. This is a brand new design, so I really had no clue as how it would react to the surface of the spacecraft when jettisoned. I guess I know now, huh? And we will give it a little gas. Damn it! Okay. Meow. Whoa, 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 what the hell? I'm gonna give you a little kiss. Dunk. Alright, we're gonna use this to kind of bump ourselves up. And, shit. You know what? Screw it. I was hoping for this nice little doohickey, but, you know, alright. It's beautiful, isn't it? Awesome, don't get hit. Let's do this. Unfolding solar panels. That's kind of cool. It's got a little angle thing going on. Same thing with the antennas. Turning on all our unnecessary equipment. And finally, toggling our communications dish. There we go. It's a little difficult. Okay. Cool. I don't know if I'm liking that. Looks alright. I mean, I love the antennas, the way they're slanted, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about the solar dishes. I mean, solar panels. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and go back. And I'm going to check on our original satellite, see if I like it any better. Switch to. Fast forward into the daylight. Uh-oh. I'm thinking I might like this one better. Notice it's got the same type of antenna thing going on, but the solar panels are straight across, rather than angled. You know what it might be? It might be just the fact that I use the struts, instead of just making the solar panels themselves angled on the fuel tank. Maybe that's the reason why it's not really working with me, because it looks kind of wider than it should be, compared to this one, which looks nice and compact. I don't know. How about you guys leave a comment and tell me which one you prefer to stay up into orbit. Either both or one of them, or what the case may be. Alright, now I promised you that I'd get this guy safely back to Kerbal. How far into it? Alright, where's our satellite? Where'd it go? Tell me it's gone up. There it is. And we should change the name real quick. Something distinct. Rename. Just call it. Oops. No, we need big letters. Alright, now landing this thing is pretty easy since we have a crap load of fuel. Just need to figure out where we want to land. And of course we want to land on Kerbal. And a nighttime landing is a little tricky. I can do it, but let's turn over to the daytime. There's poor Jebediah. I still haven't rescued him from, yeah. I suppose I should make a video about that. And let's, there. Yeah, switch to. And what I'll do is I'll switch to a ground unit so I can spin the planet around faster. This is actually an outdated version of this pickup truck, or little dump truck. This is actually a video that I'm going to make later, and I'll give you a little sneak peek of what it is. What is he overlooking? Oh, he's overlooking the complex. I wonder why. Oh, I guess it won't let you see. Interesting. Wait a minute, what does that say? Bob Kerman, but what's underneath of it? XT800 tank? No, you don't want to see that. That's just weird stuff. Okay. And this is another video that I'll be making shortly. I built an SSTO that put a fairly large satellite into geosynchronous orbit, which is pretty cool. Yeah, a whole bunch of videos coming your way, so stay tuned. Let me go ahead and turn this planet around. And that should be good. Alright, where is our ship? Switch to. Alright, Kerbal pilot, you are cleared for landing. Let's see. "38,000 feet. By the time we get there, and by the time we come around, Kerbal itself will have rotated to about here. Yeah, 34 is good. We'll start entering the atmosphere right around here. So this periapsis will actually drop. Hopefully. Getting these things right is always a pain in the butt, which is one of the reasons why I put together this SSTO that can use very little fuel to get into orbit, because I just got freaking tired of running out of fuel before I'm able to land on a damn runway. And we are in position. Fast forwarding. 15-minute countdown. 5-minute countdown. 3-minute countdown. 2. And let's check to see if we can still land there. And let's actually take this and move it. That should be okay, I think. And turn our rocket engines on. Fast forward. 10 seconds. It's a 4-second burn. Start now. And for this one I'm not going to look, because I'm not trying to get into a perfect orbit. I'm just trying to descend. So it really doesn't matter if I descend a little too much or not enough, because I've got plenty of fuel, and I'm able to fly around and figure it out once I get there. Let me see, we're going to be coming around, and we want to be facing like this, and like this, and let's see if I'm right. Close. Here we go, fast forward. There goes the satellite. Bye-bye. We are now entering Kerbal's atmosphere. Switching over to free camera view. Speeding up time. Passing over the Kerbal Desert. Right here, if I'm not mistaken, is where the pyramid is. And actually, I haven't checked to see if the pyramid, if they've changed it at all in version 21. That might actually be something to look at. But yes, it's right here, in this dark mountainous area in the desert valley. Actually, no, I lied. No. Did I? It's either, maybe this is one. It's one of these mountain areas in the desert valley. Alright, we're about to hit the thicker part of the Kerbal atmosphere. Prepare for re-entry. Flying this thing for re-entry is very easy since it's only one fuel tank. You don't have to swish fuel back and forth to try to get the, try to put the center of weight up in front. No need for that. Here we go. Activating jet engine. I've just opened all the air intakes, which increases our drag significantly. Coming in over the mountains. And as you can see here, these are the two flags for my polar expedition. I'm going to be making a third one soon. And I'm going to try to make it a little bit more lively. I do apologize for the second polar expedition one. Slow down. Whoa, okay. My nose was way too far up. That was my bad. But don't worry, we got this. Turn on engines. SAS. Switch around. Yeah. No, that wasn't my bad. Sorry. That normally doesn't happen if you're paying attention. But as I was saying, zoom out here. Yeah, the second version of the Polar Expedition was a little on the lame side. It was unfortunately late at night, and I didn't have a clear head, which is probably one of the reasons why I had 2 accidents. The first one I tape recorded, which was pretty amazing. The second one was even more amazing, but I went ahead and took that footage and saved it because I wanted to see if anybody would comment on whether or not they wanted to see it or not. But I do apologize for the first 10-15 minutes of the second Polar Expedition video. It's kind of lame. And I'll admit that. As a true Kerman, I will admit that. Alright, let's see if we can't speed it up here. Bring the nose up just a little bit, because when we fast forward, it brings the nose down. And fast forwarding. 2, 5. Times 4. Alright, I can see the runway just barely. Coming up on it. Alright, let's bring the time warp down to X1. Pull our nose down just a little bit. And time warp again. And that's about good. Let's go ahead and line this thing up. I've been meaning to put a vehicle or something right here to make it a lot easier to line up, especially during the nighttime. One of these days. As you can see, this purple marker right here, Eureka 117. Yes, 117 is a video game terminology. But that is almost an exact replica of this one. It's an older model. I've been meaning to update it. But that one is the one I used to put the older satellite up there. Let's fast forward. Prepare to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. And line this up a little bit. Slightly crooked. It's good. Fast forward. Okay. Do it again. Now, also, I've been working on, one of my subscribers had this really great idea of building a type of insertion vehicle. And I think he commented on that a while ago. So I thought to myself, an insertion vehicle, okay. Something that will load up on a plane or SSTO, be flown to a specific area, and then dropped off. As the plane flies away, it drops off, parachutes, and lands like a sort of a strategical strike or something. Strategical deployment. Blah blah blah. I can't speak today. Blah. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So I made a couple of designs. All of them work beautifully. Then I start thinking to myself, you know, if something parachutes in enemy territory, they would be able to have plenty of time to shoot it down. And if something doesn't use parachutes but uses rockets to slow down, it would glow like a Christmas tree and they would see it and then come over there and shoot it down. So what would be the perfect, somewhat stealthiest way of surgically implanting a vehicle or troops or whatever in an area where the enemy has very little, if any, knowledge of its deployment in that area. Well, obviously, parachutes and rockets are a no-go. So I've been working on, let's go ahead, landing gears, turn the engine down, just a pinch. So what I've been working on is a deployment system that doesn't use parachutes and doesn't use rockets. And I think I've come across a good design to where a little rover inside of a steel box with a type of sacrificial steel spring-like system underneath of it can actually deorbit and without any parachutes or rockets slam into the Kerbal surface and survive. Now I don't know what kind of strategical deployment you would call that. For the longest time, well, not for the longest time, but for a little while now I've been nicknaming it the drop box. So it doesn't use any parachutes and it doesn't use any rockets to slow down. It just basically slams right into the ground, but the way it's designed... Oh, where's the shadow? Must have turned it off. But the way it's designed, it survives the impact into the Kerbal surface. Alright, now until the developers create a type of steering capability in these wheels, I like to use RCS thrusters, and they work just fine. Oops. No! What are you doing? Okay, fine. And of course we didn't use any RCS fuel. Combination of RCS thrusters and brakes. And we'll park right behind the other one. So yeah. Oops. Someone left the lights on. Brakes! The astronaut that left the lights on a Eureka Class 117 plane, please go out there and turn your lights off. Thank you. Alright, so we hit the number 5. Yay. Climb up. Climb across. Whoa, F! Thank you. Dun da da da! Good job, astronaut. You've earned your wings. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. This is Vaos, signing off.